George Galloway, thank you very much indeed. Just to remind the audience that I'll be coming shortly to you, so please have your questions ready. Mr. Galloway, what would be so wrong with a little benign dictatorship? People like their rulers in this region.
I'm not sure that they do. How do we know that they do? Whoever tested...
Well, when Sheikh Zayed died in the UAE in 2004, there was an outpouring of tremendous grief. He was much loved by his population. Ask anyone in the UAE.
There is grief, perhaps, for the passing of iconic figures.
It was more than that.
But
it was more than that.
Well, nobody ever tested that. If these rulers are so loved, why don't they put themselves in front of an election and let's see how loved they are? Nobody believes these rulers are really the choice of their people. Tim.
So your objection is to dictators in general or just in this region?
Well, dictators in general are a bad idea because they...
Like your friend Fidel Castro,
He's not a dictator.
He's not a dictator?
Don't compare Fidel Castro.
Why isn't he a dictator?
Don't compare Fidel Castro to the...
He runs what Human Rights Watch calls an undemocratic government that represses nearly all forms of political dissent.
I'll debate Cuba with you anytime you like, but I doubt if I've got enough time to do so now. But I'll make this point. I'm flying...
you think he's a Democrat,
I'm flying this evening to Caracas, Venezuela.
What's that got to do with this?
Everything. To speak at a rally at the weekend with the great Hugo Chavez. And one of the reasons Hugo Chavez is great is because he was elected time after time after time, despite the CIA, despite the American government.
We were talking about Castro a moment ago.
Election after election.
You don't have anything good to say about the current government in Iraq? And you don't want a dictatorship. What is going to save the day in Iraq? Let's hear that from you.
The liberation movement,
apart from slogans.
The liberation movement will have to be brought into a national dialogue.
Who's going to do that?
Based on the withdrawal of the invader occupying forces from the country.
Who's going to do that?
There is a plan. The resistance, the Iraqi resistance, which every honorable and dignified Arab supports, everyone. The resistance movement has a plan. It should be implemented. And
the resistance movement is one movement. Come off it, George.
The national resistance movement in Iraq has a peace plan based on the withdrawal of the invader.
Which part of the resistance movement?
Based on
which part?
The non-sectarian Arab nationalist resistance movement in Iraq, which every honorable and dignified Arab supports. And they have a plan. It can be implemented. It has to be a national dialogue between all the sects, between all the nationalities, and all the people of Iraq. Unlike that side of the argument.
All right, we'll come to that side of the argument.
I have faith in the Iraqi people.
Thank you, George Galloway. We're going to take some questions now from the audience.
Can I just say one word?
Say one word and then we're going to questions.
George was trying to divert the attention. We're not talking about democracy in the Arab world, because you all want democracy, not the Americans. But we are talking about Iraq at the present time, whether you can get it out of the mayhem which is in by democracy or by dictatorship. That's what we're discussing, not the Arab issue.
That was more than one word. Let's go to a gentleman over there.
Good evening. My question is for you, Mr. Sabah. How would you feel if you were living under a dictator who would deny you your basic rights? You won't be a free person. You can't vote if you were living under a dictatorship. I mean, won't you feel bad about this as a lawyer?
You are absolutely right. I will be fighting against him. Yeah. I'm talking about the process now in Iraq, which is occupied. We're not talking about how you manage an ordinary country like from Morocco to the Gulf.
That's not what the motion says. The motion says we need a dictatorship in Iraq.
In Iraq, yes, at the present moment. No, that's the situation.
A new dictator, you say, now you want.
Yeah, at the present moment.
Where is he? Who is he?
You want to come back?
Yeah, last thing. I mean, the path to democracy in the Arab world has never been easy. It requires patience. Don't you believe in your countrymen? I mean, don't you have patience? It needs wit and patience. You can't have democracy on a golden plate to be served at you at the same time. Everything needs time, especially democracy in Iraq. Why shouldn't Iraq be the first country to begin with and impose or implement democracy in?
Oh, democracy is a beautiful thing to have, but not in an occupied country.
But they're working on
it there now.
You should have just a bit more patience. I mean, the solution...
Oh, we have no problem with that. Once it's liberated, they must have democracy.
Thank you.
All right, let's have a question from the lady in the third row there. You have your hand up.
Good evening. My question is for the people for the motion. Ultimately, dictator has the same connotations. It has one definition. You just got rid of Saddam Hussein, so the next dictator is going to be better? I mean, all dictators are the same at the end of the day. So what have you done if you've just gotten rid of Saddam Hussein and then put another dictator just to take his place?
Robert Baer.
What you're going to do is keep people alive, frankly. And to look at Iraq now, where hundreds of thousands of people are being killed, and for us on the outside, sitting here and saying, you know, we'll be a little more patient. Maybe we'll lose 2 million, 3 million in the name of democracy. It's easy for us to say, but for the Iraqis being blown up by suicide bombers, people being shot, people starving, the babies dying, democracy is irrelevant for them now. What we want is a rule of law with a tyrant behind it. And I'm not necessarily a tyrant. Tyrant's a bad word. But a military officer who's going to let people go to the market in the morning.